This is Mujib from North Country Kettlebells. Today I'm going to be talking about the Kettlebell Goblet Squat and some of the benefits that go along with doing Kettlebell Goblet Squats. One of the greatest benefits of doing Kettlebell Goblet Squats is that it's a great way to practice the squat mechanic as a whole when using a kettlebell. The kettlebell squats can be a little bit different because you have to hold on to the kettlebells and they're trying to get away from you the whole time. When it comes to the goblet squat, that's because I'm holding that kettlebell in front of my body the whole time that I'm squatting. Right now, we're just going to go into a few of the components of doing safe and effective goblet squats. Now, the number one component with a goblet squat, as with any other squat, is going to be the basic squat mechanic. So the basics of my squat mechanics are I want to keep my chest up as my hips go back and down at the same time. As far as my knees are concerned, I want to make sure that they're not buckling in or bowing out or jutting too far forward or obviously going backwards as I'm falling over. So basic balance, basic weight distribution, all of the specifics that go into doing a proper squat are what are going to go into doing a proper goblet squat. The second component of doing a goblet squat is going to be a little more particular to the goblet squat itself, and that's the level at which we keep the kettlebell up while we're going through that squat. This is going to apply for the entirety of the squat. So as I'm descending into the bottom of my squat, that kettlebell is going to want to drop down or pull me forward, or even if I just get a little bit lazy, it's not going to want to hold that same position being in front of my face. A good way to think about it is that once I've cleaned the kettlebell, once the kettlebell's in that rack position, I'm basically going to keep it in that exact same position until I'm finished with that set. The second component that's particular to the goblet squat is going to be the full extension at the top of my squat. This is the hip mechanic that we're going to be reiterating through a lot of these movements, but when it comes to doing goblet squats by themselves, it's very easy to overlook it, so we want to be really particular about the hips coming to that full extension each time. The last component that I'm going to tie into with the goblet squat is more of a component that has to do with the entirety of kettlebell training, and that's that we can put these movements together with multiple movements if we're doing them in a sequence in which we're not exhausting ourselves. So I like to keep my rep counts for my squats pretty low within the set, and then if I want to give myself a little bit more of a challenge, then I can couple that movement with other movements. So I can do 5 squats and 10 swings, or I can do 5 goblet squats and 5 presses on one side, 5 more goblet squats and 5 presses on the other side. Or I can do my goblet squats between my sets of snatches, or anything else that I'm doing. A lunge with a squat, squat with a halo, all those different combinations. So when it comes to the goblet squat, that's one of those movements that is really just a great combination to throw in there with any of the other movements that we'll do, particularly the momentum-based movements like swings and snatches. The squat itself can act as a bit of a recovery. For now, we're going to keep the rep counts pretty simple, doing about 5 to 10 reps per set and doing about 3 to 5 sets per workout. Just as with most of the other movements in the beginning, we're not necessarily looking to give ourselves a hearty workout with the squat, right? You're going to get a good workout, you're going to get residual strength, but the main focus of this movement with the goblet squat for now is practicing these components so that each one of your reps is consistent. Again, the components that we're going to be looking at with that goblet squat are the basic squat mechanic that goes along with any type of squat, keeping the kettlebell in the same position through the entirety of the movement, that position being directly in front of the mouth as if I were speaking through that handle, coming to a full extension of my hips with each rep so that at the top of my repetition I'm coming to a consistent stopping point, and the idea of putting the squat together with other movements to create complexes and other types of circuit routines for yourself. Try it out, let me know how you feel about doing squats in this way, and as always, train smart, train effectively, and enjoy yourself. This is Mujib from North Country Kettlebells talking about goblet squats.